Hi, this is Barb from RECUR360, and today's video we will show you how to use our email template variables. In RECUR360, under the settings menu, we have an email menu, which will allow you to customize the different email templates that we can use. RECUR360 has an invoice due template, an invoice paid template, invoice overdue, a pending invoice due template, pending invoice overdue, a recurring payment, a payment failure, and a default customer email template that is used. Each one of these you can see a preview of as you are looking at the email screen. So my invoice due template says subject line John Smith invoice due date, then hello John, thank you for doing business with us. If I preview that, it's going to give me a full screen preview of what that looks like when the customer receives it, including your company branding and any other messages that might be displayed in that particular email when it is sent. To edit that email template, I just select the edit button next to the name of the template, and then I'm shown which options I can modify on that particular template. The subject line can be customized, and this one is chosen to use the customer display name, then the word invoice, the invoice number, and the invoice due date. It says hello and then fills in the customer's name automatically each time it sends. And then this is the body of the email template and how it goes out. Right now, mine says, thank you for doing business with us. Please contact us with any questions, and please pay your invoice prior to a variable for the invoice due date. The variable I got in here by just getting into my email template area that I wanted to add it, and then selecting from the different invoice variable templates over here on the left. So my invoice variable templates, I can use an invoice date, the due date, the QuickBooks invoice number, or I'm sorry, the RECUR360 ID number, or the QuickBooks invoice number. So any of these options can be added just by clicking that, and it will put that variable into the screen over on the right-hand side. Any of the date variables that are available in RECUR360 are going to follow date formatting. So my invoice due date, you'll notice, has some characters after it in parentheses to represent how that date should be formatted when it's sent out. This one has 3 digits for the month, MMM, meaning that is going to put the abbreviation of the month into the body of the email. So it'll put the SEP for September. The next is the letter D for the date, and then this is the 10th day of the month. And then it shows a 4-digit year because I have 4 Ys for this formatting. You can change this formatting to be any structure that you would like that follows standard date formatting setup. So if I put another M in here, now I have 4 M's, then it will spell out the full month in September here. If I go to just 2 letter M's, capital, then it is the digital representation of the month. So we'll put a 09. If I want to put just 1, then I leave 1 M there, and it will have just 9 instead of the 2-digit. So the date fields are very flexible in what you want to be able to display on your invoice variables. You can see a listing of date formatting structure and how that works. In our help documentation, we have a link to this page, which shows you the different options that are available in formatting any date criteria that you want to use inside of RECUR360. So when you are looking at the editing screen, please note that anytime you see the programming variables up here, in the bottom in the preview, it's going to display to you in red a sample of what those results will look like. So my customer display name sample is John Smith, and then it has a sample invoice number as well, and a sample due date as well. Then hello John, John is also in red because that's his customer first name. When you are working with the variables in RECUR360, please be aware and careful when you are modifying any of the variables themselves or typing in this body area that you need to leave the structure of how the variables are programmed like they are. As an example, when I was working with this date variable, if I had accidentally removed one of the asterisks inside of that variable, it breaks the variable. So you now see down at the bottom, instead of me having the results of the invoice due date, say September, now it just says the code of what the variable said it was. So I need to put that asterisk back in there and fix how that variable works, and then it will display correctly. Now that I've fixed it, it goes back to the date format that it was having. So the structure of our variables is to have a bracket, 2 asterisks, then the name of the variable, any formatting needed inside of a parenthesis, those are for dates, and then 2 more asterisks and a closing bracket. You will always see a red example of the result of the variable as long as the variable is programmed and typed correctly in the preview screen. So let's save that and actually go send a copy of it so that we can see what the results look like. So from my collection center, anytime I go to send an email, RECUR360 is automatically going to choose which email template to use based on the status of that invoice. If it is a current open invoice and it is not past its due date, then it's going to send an invoice due template. If it is past the due date, this one is 3 days past its due date, then it will always automatically send the invoice overdue email. So if I just send an email on this very top one here that is not due until October the 30th, and I click send email, it is going to send a regular invoice due email because it is not past its due date. And I can type a custom message to be added into that as well. So then I click send email. It's going to send that invoice due template that I have just customized with a new code that I put in there. So when that customer receives that email, it's going to look something like this and say, hello, Andrea, here is your email. Please pay your invoice prior to October 30th of 2022, based on that invoice due date variable that I had assigned to it. So you can customize any one of those invoice email templates under our email screen and just see what they look like under the preview. As always, if you have any questions with any of our settings while you're working with them, you can come to our support chat and get live help with them or ask us via email. Thanks for watching and have a great day.